Once upon a time, in a faraway place, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, way back in the past, a Pleiadian mother was singing lullabies to her child. The exquisite sounds seemed to come from the stars, from a choir of angels, creating vibrations and frequencies that would tell the story of the whole universe. Little Yai leaned against his mother's breast, was feeling the warm energy of love emanating from her heart, permeating each of his cells, resonating throughout his whole DNA field. Time passed, and the little boy grew up to become a great scientist, a high priest, and the architect of the Lemurian temples of rejuvenation in Lemuria.
And the quantum choir has to do with creating very precise tonal signatures that are then combined with other tonal signatures, which creates a complex series of tones that have been developed since thousands of years ago that have powerful effects on biology. When the tone patterns from the choir were compared to playing Mozart for the Mozart effect, if we played single tones one after another, that was 33% more powerful for the growth of plants than even playing the best of Mozart. When we played the recordings from the choir, where we played the tones together, it was 100% stronger than playing the best of Mozart. So there's a very powerful biological effect. We've had the reports of persons with various types of conditions that have been dramatically improved, even resolved after a weekend of doing a quantum choir experience. And beyond that, it's also about the vibrational states that enhance the balance of the brain, that enhance consciousness, that build awareness. And there's a more unprovable aspect of it, which is the more intuitive aspect, which is that there are parts of our DNA that contain information, that contain abilities that we have the potential to express if we can wake up that part of our DNA. So a deeper part, a deeper layer, is the intuitive perception that certain types of vibrations are the key, as it were, to turn on the computer, activate the processors, and bring into activity aspects of DNA, whether it's deeper levels of remembrance, whether it's more power of the subtle senses, whether it's enhancing levels of awareness, whether it's bringing forth subtle abilities that aren't otherwise present, that these tones and tonal patterns are partly for the aesthetics. They're beautiful and they fill a room and they uplift people. People tend to have a very exalted emotional experience, especially when everyone is harmonizing. There's the emotional part, there's the physical part, there's even mental and cognitive enhancement, and beyond it there's getting into higher states of awareness, higher perceptions. Some people perceive different dimensions of reality during or right after working with the tonal patterns. And getting a big group of people doing this with an aligned intention, as we are doing now on a mountaintop, creates that a whole, I would say, quantum level of enhancement, which takes the whole capability of these resonances to another level. In part, we believe we are creating a persistent vibrational enhancement of this particular spot. And this choir Moshe Moni has chosen because of the perception that this is a hotspot energetically of the planet, and that there is a type of information that's been stored here or is available here that we can access, again, if we create the right vibrational key in the lock. So having so many people, it's a vibrational type of amplification. It's powerful if one person sings, it's more powerful if two, and then if hundreds sing, especially if they're singing pairs of tones that create harmonics, resonances, and overtones, it's this complex mix of information that, for one, enhances everybody in the room, and then we believe creates a vibration that will permanently enhance the vibration of the room, even the whole geography where this is being done. And we have a plan of activating 12 different precise nodal points of the Earth with the goal of creating, in its greatest potential, an enhanced vibrational state of the planet, which makes different levels of awareness more available for everyone.
I would like to ask permission of the ancients in these mountains to do this ceremony. They said we're all welcomed with love and that they have been waiting for us for thousands of years.
I would like to tell you about the choir. The tones that you sing are connected to the grid. They are not necessarily heard by the mountain. They are connected to the grid. There is an association, a relationship between the parts of everything. And what you do here you may call esoteric. I'm going to call it high physics. What do you call an angel, dear ones? Is it possible that an angelic being comes and goes, violating the laws of physics? You feel their consciousness. Would you say they have nothing to do with physics, nothing to do with science because they're from God? Let me remind you of something. Because the creative source of this universe is the master physicist. And the beings that surround that are all working with basic physics. It is how things work. It is all the relationship between the parts. Well, actually, the whole idea of the quantum is a play on words, because we're always dealing with quantum energy when it comes to consciousness and the realization of the new energy. There's a great deal of what we would call quantum energy in what we're doing. Now, quantum is used incorrectly, and I know this. Today it means multidimensional. And what Kryon has said now for 28 years is that we are evolving. And to evolve in consciousness, we have to have more realization of our multidimensional levels. It's not just 3D. We've been in a box of reality, and it's starting to expand to include quantum things. But the fun part is that we, in Geneva, we are right sitting in the circle of the Large Hadron Accelerator. This is the biggest quantum experiment in the Earth. And so we chose that in order so we can see the organization there, we can go on tours there, we can have meetings there. It's a quantum experiment for physics, and we are in a quantum state in esoterics. I want to tell you something, dear ones. You're going to find the holy grail of physics in the relationship between the parts of the atom. Not far from here, there's a grand worldwide experiment, the largest physics experiment ever. And what they have done in the depths of their desire to find the truth is to totally discount the relationship. And in order to make the experiment work, the first thing they do to the atom is destroy the relationship. They take the electrons away, the relationship is gone, all that used to be there is missing. They even know that the electrons create magnetism in their own way. They don't care, they take them away. And they take a part they want to examine because it is steerable with magnetics. And then they enhance the size of the part so they can see it better, not understanding that it is not a normal part anymore. It's simply one that is bigger so they can see it. Then they smash it into other parts to see what's left, hoping they'll get smaller and smaller parts. Dear ones, they will. There is no limit to small, which they will discover. But in the end, they will only have parts. Dear ones, I want to tell you something. The master mechanic of this planet who knows cars and automobiles can put any car together on the planet without a manual if he has the parts in front of him. He knows the relationship between the parts. A master plumber is not about pipes. It's about the relationship of pressures to pipes, to waters. Pipes are just parts. The big experiment, not far from here, would be almost like this. There is a mystery how a bee flies. Bees are too heavy, it would seem, to fly as well as they do. Imagine a group of scientists saying, we must discover how a bee flies. And so the first thing they will do is tear the wings off the bee. Then they will cut the bee up to find a part that is most promising. Then they will enhance that part in an abnormal way and crush it with other parts to see what's left. They will never understand how the bee flies. You must study physics as it exists. You must understand that the relationship within one atom is the whole story. The relationship between the parts is the magic. The parts are simply mortar and brick. You will see many parts do many things, but until you understand the relationship between them, you will have nothing. Some of you sit there and you're beginning to feel the relationship you might have, not to the mountain, but to the galaxy. Because you are literally tickling the relationship of atomic structure in ways that you are unaware of, that speak so far away, beyond the speed of light, because you are actually manipulating physics, not even knowing it, with consciousness that's connected to everything. I'll be back.
Então agora nós estamos aqui com o nosso amigo Anders Holt. Anders Holt vem da Dinamarca e ele é um músico e tem uma carreira inteira como músico e hoje faz um tipo diferente de música. E ele faz parte da equipe Kryon também. And so Anders, thank you very much for being here to give us this interview.
You're very welcome.
And the question that we have to you is the same that we have for everybody, is related to the theme of these two events, both in Geneva and Chamonix. And the theme is quantum experience. So what does quantum experience mean to you, and how is this related to music and to your experience with music in general?
Well, a quantum experience for me really means that it is an exalted state and a sacred space, very often, rather than a question of a performance. I was trained traditionally as a conductor and a singer, and what I was taught almost exclusively was that you perform, you produce, you project, and everything was 3D. And quantum for me is another term, another way of saying you transcend what is in 3D here now. You have everything that is music and sound obviously being in 3D, but the beauty about sound is that it is one of the most powerful ways that I know that can transcend and build a bridge between the 3D and the other dimensions. That is what if you ask me, quantum for me means that there are other levels that I can access by the way I create the sound in my singing and also in my music, obviously. So it goes from not being a question only of producing, I'm here and I'm performing for other people, but it's something that envelops all of us in an experience that we are all witnessing at the same time. And that is a fundamentally different way for me of not only of making music, but also of singing. This is the very reason I'm singing. And the quantum experience for me is essential. This is why I do it. If I couldn't have the hope for reaching a transcendent state, which is what I understand very much about a quantum experience, I probably would do something else.
And would you say that the music is quantum in its nature, in general? Where does music come?
Well, you say music, and I understand this. Yeah. The word music is like say, do you like music? Is like saying, do you like human beings, Homo sapiens? That's how general a term that is. And for me, I discovered when my direction and approach to music changed 10, 12 years ago, from the traditional to a perception and experience of music that no one had ever taught me anything about. And the word music, or what it means to create music, changed as well. I discovered that the tuning and awareness of sound, both in the middle of the music, but also sound in general, the knowledge of how sound can be molded, is an experience that I discovered again 10 years ago. That I discovered that transcendence has nothing to do with power. It has nothing to do with any of the traditional ways of learning, in my opinion, music and singing. It has something to do with the awareness that when you tune in like a radio, you want to have a station, and you tune very fine tune. There it is, and everything opens up.
It's like being in a big family, and the vibrations of the music are so powerful. As long as you kind of let your brain switch off and just immerse in it, it is amazing. It's wonderful.
My heart felt the call of the mountain and the sounds, because I feel the sounds inside of me. And it's been for a long time that I wish to come, but it was never in Europe, so this time I'm lucky. And I'm here to sing my heart out and open my heart for all there is. It makes your journey more beautiful, you become more happy, and you feel the joy inside.
It's really changed my life. I see an improvement in myself, in mental, emotional, spiritual. And I'm implementing the tones with my little sister. Basically, she's my inspiration. She lost her eyesight due to a surgery. And when I heard about the tones, I decided to start singing to her. And after the surgery, she lost half of her body movement and legally blind. But she's been recovering. Those tones really have impacted her life. Even though she's taking over 15 medications. She wasn't producing hormones. Then all of a sudden the doctors realized it's like, oh, she's having hormones. What is going on? So, and I know, my family knows that it's because of the pineal tones.
It's a nice moment just to tell you what an absolute joy and pleasure and privilege it is for me to see all of you here. Some of you for the first time, some of you every single time. And it takes a lot of inner passion to get the fire to come to an event like this and literally sing your heart out. And the difference that it makes for each of us personally, that we're all here and contributing to each other, and for the planet. And as we're seeing, there's an even bigger picture of how this awakens our multidimensional selves, and how what we're doing here connects to even bigger pictures through the cosmos, that I still really wanted to let you know how much I totally and fully appreciate what it took for each of you to be here, to contribute as you have, to sing as well as you have. It's almost a miracle to me that so many people from so many places with so many backgrounds can come together and sing in such a harmonious way. It really is one of those, not quite a miracle of nature, but the odds against this kind of coherence happening are truly astronomical. And I think because of that, the impact we create is leveraged in a way that is exponential. So just my deep note of appreciation that you're here and that you're singing as well as you are and with such a beautiful spirit.
Elation, celebration, beauty, compassion. It's a great way to end the day. Dear ones, we do not allow you to say goodbye. The lineage of the choirs continue. And those here will always be part of what happens next, regardless of the personal attendance. If you cannot make it, you will be part of it. Someday, when the choirs are done, even then, there will be no goodbye. For this is in a circle. It is perpetual, as is love, as is the evolution of this planet, with promise and more. And so as we leave this place, there is no goodbye. The ancients never had a word for goodbye. From civilization to civilization, they carefully constructed a word that meant both. And sometimes the word also meant I love you. All of it is together as we depart this place as a group who will always be together. And so it is.
Can't you listen to the lullabies? They are saying to you because you are part of this cosmic love story.
Esse documentário que você acabou de assistir é parte de um projeto chamado Documentários Kryon e o Novo Humano. E a ideia deste projeto é produzir conteúdo consciencial através das viagens de Kryon, eventos, palestras, experiências, enfim, que trazem a temática do novo humano, da nova terra, nova consciência. E ao produzir esses documentários, nossa ideia é disponibilizá-los gratuitamente na rede para que mais e mais pessoas possam acessar esse conteúdo, porque nós acreditamos que eles têm um potencial de despertar e expandir a consciência das pessoas. Da forma que nós compreendemos como aquela que tem o maior potencial de dar apoio a esse projeto para que ele continue, dê frutos e possa crescer, é através da colaboração. Portanto, nós criamos uma página de crowdfunding, onde as pessoas que querem ver esse projeto crescer, que acreditam nessa proposta, podem contribuir com aquilo que elas quiserem, com aquilo que elas puderem. Esse é o espírito da nova consciência. Então, por favor, se você tem interesse, dê uma olhada na descrição desse vídeo aqui embaixo. Ali nós temos a página de crowdfunding que fala dos nossos próximos projetos. A cada novo documentário, um novo projeto de arrecadação através do crowdfunding vai ser lançado. Então, por favor, acesse lá, leia as informações e contribua com a gente para que a gente possa juntos manifestar essa realidade fantástica. Obrigado.